Yo, what's up everybody? Jumpin' here. Today I am back on some Borderlands 4, and I wanted to talk about and show off Harlowe's insane leveling build. Now I think a lot of people know about Chromo Accelerator. It's been talked about a whole lot. It's extremely powerful. What you are doing with this is that you are using an augment that will put 4% of your action skill damage into your gun. And that is enough to make it extremely overpowered. Now, what I'm kind of concerned about is that next week, they are going to start making some adjustments. And they said that they were going to look at some overtuned things in the game. I'm hoping that they do not nerf this build, but they might. So I think this is a good time. If you haven't leveled up Harlowe, you should absolutely level up Harlowe, because you can just level her up insanely quick using this build. Also, I am taking advantage of the infinite ammo glitch because I'm pretty confident that they are going to fix that next week. That is a glitch that needs to be fixed. It's pretty overpowered and broken, but it's really good when you combine it with this setup, because I am using the Katagawa's Revenge. This gun is insane with this, and I also have the Skeptic Class Mod. What that does is that when you are doing elemental statuses and then hitting enemies that have that status, you're restoring your cooldown. You combine the two together and you are going to get your cooldown back insanely quickly, and then this gun will completely destroy everything on the map. If you have the infinite ammo, you can just literally spam it everywhere at your feet, and it is just insane. Now, the best thing about this build is that you only need the two items, the Katagawa's Revenge and the Skeptic Class Mod. You get both of those at Carcadia Burns. So you can just go there if you're starting at level 1 and going through the story. That should be the first place you go once you get access to it. And if you are starting at level 30, where you skip the story, you should just go there and farm this right away. Alrighty guys, now I'm going to show you the build and everything you're going to want to know about it. Alrighty guys, so I'm going to go ahead and start with the skill tree, which if you are starting at level 1, this build feels really good once you get the first 5 points in here for field ready prototype. This gives you bonus action skill damage, but once you have the first 5 points in, you get your first augment. And the very first augment is the one that you want, Neutron Capture. What this does is that whenever you use your action skill, 4% of the action skill damage is going to go into your gun. And this is where all your damage comes from. Your gun can be level 1. It does not matter. This is what does all your damage. And that is what makes it so freaking crazy. Apparently this was at 10% damage, but then they nerfed it down to 4%. When it was at 10%, Harlowe was doing trillions of damage with this. So if they do decide to nerf this again and maybe make it 1% of the damage, it's still going to be really good. But I hope they don't actually adjust this build. I don't really see the point of that. There are a lot of things that are just broken in the game, glitched. Definitely fix all of that, but when it comes to just powerful builds, I don't really see the point of necessarily nerfing them. But I'm not exactly sure what they can do, just because if they do put it down to 1%, it's going to suffer, but it's still going to be really powerful. Now after that, I like to go for the reload speed, even though I'm doing the infinite ammo glitch right now. So I don't really need this, but when you don't have the infinite ammo glitch, you do want this. If you are leveling from level 1, you do want to go ahead and get test subjects for that cooldown speed. Mainly because what Neutron Capture feels like early on is that it will feel like just burst damage. You use it whenever you need to kill something strong, but you have to wait for that cooldown every time. So you get 8 seconds of damage, and then the rest of the time you don't really have the damage. And that's kind of a bummer. Once you get the class mod though, you can spam it to the point where you always have it and you are destroying literally everything. Early on, get the cooldown speed, and then once you have the class mod, you can go ahead and go over here instead, put 2 points into this, and then you definitely want to get more radiation damage. The more damage you do with the action skill, the more damage you're going to do with your gun. Same with this, you want more radiation damage. I put 2 points into these darts. Again, it just adds more damage to the action skill. And then also I put 3 points here so that I do bonus damage to radiated enemies. And then Dirty Bomb, it's pretty nice. And finally, what you want for your capstone is Demon Core. And you just do so much damage with your action skill that you end up doing crazy amounts of damage with your gun. Once you're done with the red tree, you can move on to the blue tree. In here, we're going for the critical hit chance because we want our action skill to crit. That way we do more damage with the action skill. Down here, you get bonus fire rate. It's not like the greatest thing ever, but it does help. So with the class mod, it doesn't really matter what you get on the class mod. Mainly with this build, nothing matters. That's just a common theme. It's like, does the level of the gun or the gear matter? No. It could be level 1. Doesn't matter. Does the skills that come on the gear matter? No, not really. So that's just something to keep in mind. Like I have like some bonuses over here, and I have something over here. I get that from the class mod. Don't really care about it. And in fact, if I could have it my way, I'd probably just get the fire rate bonus. And then you also have to put 1 point here so that you can actually put points into the critical hit damage. That is just general critical hit damage, so it's going to improve the damage of your crits, but also improve the damage of the action skill crit. Ripple effect is actually really nice. And then once I get down here, and I'm not max level yet, but my plan is to just keep going down this path, get some bonus cryo damage, and it should be pretty epic. Now for the specializations, it doesn't really matter all that much because the only thing in Daredevil that is pretty decent is a Hone Mine, mainly for the crit chance. You want that so your action skill can crit more often. But you would think that I Am the Gun would be amazing, but apparently it doesn't work with Chromo Accelerator. If it did work, this build would be way stronger. I hope they fix that in the future, and especially if they do end up nerfing it down to maybe like 1% of the damage dealt, then this would actually make up for some of that damage, and that would be cool. Now, if I had like a whole bunch of levels in my specialization, I would definitely get the best defense for just the general damage dealt when I have full health. Also, I would get rid of you this if this actually would work, I Am the Gun. But that's kind of my plan for this. Again, it doesn't matter all that much just because Harlowe is broken. Now, let's go ahead and talk about the gear, which is actually the thing that matters the most. So as you play through the story, you are going to work your way up to the point where you get to decide where do you want to go. Do you want to finish up this area? Do you want to go to Carcadia Burns? Or do you want to go to the Terminate Range? Well, you definitely want to go to the Carcadia Burns because early on, you will fight a boss, which is Driller Hole over here, and that's how you get the Katagawa's Revenge. And this weapon will change this build dramatically because it's going to delete every enemy and it's going to delete every boss when you use your Chromo Accelerator. So you want to go ahead and farm this until it drops. Once you get that, you need to continue with the Carcadia Burns area so that you can work your way to the final boss of the story there, and that will be Callus. So once you start farming her, you want to try to go ahead and get the class mod to drop. Now getting a class mod to drop is a nightmare, just because unfortunately in this game, when you are farming for your own class mod, you never get your class mod, you get other people's class mod. So if you do have some friends, or if you're playing through the story with some friends, definitely have them farm this with you so that when they get the drop, they can just give it to you. And if you get their class mods, you can give it to them. That seems to be the best way of getting a class mod. But that's pretty much it. This is what you want. You want these two weapons. Again, it doesn't matter what the level is. Like I had this level 24 one, was using this forever. It doesn't really do any damage, but it doesn't matter because the Chromo Accelerator is what's doing all the damage with the augment. Same with the class mod. Once you get the class mod, you don't really care about what comes on the class mod. This one does actually have critical hit chance, so that's actually pretty nice. But the main thing you want is that effect. Status effect restores 5% of your action skill cooldown. And when you are using the Katagawa's Revenge, this is a really great way of getting a ton of cooldown. It doesn't just do a crazy amount of damage, but it flicks that status effect so that you can get your cooldown and keep up your augment forever. You have 100% uptime once you combine these two together. Now, when it comes to my other weapon here, I just have on this Ripper License Order Gun. That's what you're looking for. So as you're playing through the game, you want to be on the lookout for weapon like this with Order and Ripper License part, because then you can do the infinite ammo glitch. And you also have to be on the lookout for an enhancement that will come with free charger, where whenever you have order licensed parts, you have a 30% chance to make your next charge shot consume 0 ammo. So that's how you perform the glitch. I also do have the crit knife on. I'll go ahead and show the rest of the gear real quick. But I have the crit knife on. I don't really use it all that much. You don't really need it. When it comes to my rep kit, I just have a purple one on. And then finally, the fireworks shield is really good with this. So I would recommend the fireworks shield just because it helps you mob a lot quicker. Let me go ahead and show you how to do the glitch real quick if you are interested. Again, they will probably patch this next week. So if you're trying to level up Harlowe, this is the time to take advantage of this setup with the infinite ammo, and you can completely destroy everything in record time. Now, to do this glitch, it's actually really easy, but it can be kind of annoying because it doesn't want to work sometimes. Keep trying it, it will eventually work. So if you have your order gun with the Ripper licensed part, as you charge up, it's going to shoot fully automatic. Now what we're looking for here is we're looking for an instant shot where it doesn't have to charge up. Every time that it does charge up, just reload the gun and try again. So I'm going to keep doing this. Once you get it to do this, where it's just shooting, I will hold down my fire button and switch my gun. And hopefully it will work. So that's kind of the plan here. So I'm just going to keep doing it. Sometimes it doesn't work, sometimes it does. So just keep doing it until it works. There it is again. I'm going to go ahead and start shooting, and I have the glitch going. Now I have infinite ammo, and I can just hold down my fire button with the Katagawa's Revenge and just keep shooting it. It's extremely broken. I mean, if you want to kill things and mob in record time, this is the way to do it. Harlowe is extremely fun, and she's extremely overpowered. Now, obviously, for her in-game build, you want to run the same stuff. It works at the end game as well. But the fact that you can get this going so early on, I would say that it takes maybe like level 20. You work your way over to Carcadia Burns, and at level 20, you can start getting the class mods, and then you want to farm for the class mod, and you want to also farm for the gun, and you're good to go. Alrighty guys, well that's going to pretty much do it for this video. I really hope that you have enjoyed it and it has helped. If it has, will you please like the video for me? Be sure to subscribe for future videos, and I really do hope that everyone has a very nice day, and peace out.